When the Jurassic Park film came out in 1990, it came with an avalanche of Jurassic Park merchandise and video games. They even made a Jurassic Park game for Nintendo's portable Game Boy, and you know what? It's not that bad. Find out all about it on this edition of Friday Night Arcade. You play as Alan Grant, and the game is kind of a little brother to the Super Nintendo version with top-down action. You pick up weapons along the way like a gun, bolo, and rocket launcher. You also pick up ID cards, and that's mostly what the gameplay centers around. Wandering around the levels, picking up raptor eggs, looking for ID cards that you need to open doors or complete various tasks around the park, as well as interacting with motion sensors and computer terminals. All the while, you'll be avoiding dinosaurs such as the smaller compies, raptors, spitters, stegosaurus, and so forth. You can move and shoot in all directions as well as jump. The play control isn't too bad for a Game Boy game. It's good enough to get by, and the dinosaurs aren't that smart anyway. The spitters are really slow, and the raptors just kinda walk around in circles. One thing that really impressed me was how well the dinosaurs looked given the limitations of the hardware. Whether in the game or in the cutscenes, they all look like they should and are easy on the eyes. However, instead of being completely open world like the Super NES version, this time each mission is broken up into several shorter levels, but the missions are all along the same lines and probably follow the book a little more closely than the film. Restoring power to the park, destroying raptor nests, getting all the raptor eggs off the boat and calling the mainland for help. There's a couple new ones through in too, like having to save the kids. Tim is stuck in a Triceratops stampede and he functions about like any video game sidekick. Stupid. But the worst is Tim's sister Lex. She's stranded in the T-Rex paddock and you have to lead her to safety. The T-Rex looks awesome, but just like in the book, Lex is absolutely worthless. She walks painfully slow, and if you get more than a few feet away from her, she just freezes and waits for the T-Rex to eat her. You have to fend off T-Rex with whatever weapons you happen to have, all while leading her along a few feet at a time, and you've got to cover a lot of ground. You can't just leave her behind either. It's not all bad though. I mentioned the graphics before, and really, this game is overall impressive to look at for the time. There's a variety of areas such as wandering around in the woods, floating up a river infested with cool-looking brachiosaurs, going in various buildings around the park, the raptor nests, and visitor center all look like they should. The cutscenes are short, but look good too, and my favorite part is the music. Some of these tunes are awesome. This game is a little bit of action and a little bit of a puzzler. It doesn't necessarily do either of them particularly great. For example, in one level you have to turn on the generator and then use the computer terminals in the right order. That was one of my least favorite aspects of the Super NES version, and it's just as annoying here. But at least the buildings aren't in first person. And the hit detection is a little wonky as well. You've got to be in just the right spot to shoot the dinosaurs, but they can pretty much hit you from wherever. I mentioned before about collecting eggs, and that's typically your first task when entering any new area. You can't move forward without collecting all the eggs first. Unfortunately, the areas get a little more complicated and convoluted as you proceed, and they like to hide the eggs all over. It's not always clear how to get around these little secret pathways under the trees, and they got a little carried away with that. The best part is these mystery boxes. Along with weapons and ID cards, you'll see these mystery boxes all over the park that you can pick up. They may give you a little health, they may do a little damage, they may just kill you in one hit. Phew. I'm a little low on health. Gotta take a chance. Is this a good one? Eh? You never know, and the best thing to do is just avoid them. The good news is they're not random, so if you remember the good ones from the bad ones or have a walkthrough, you can avoid taking any unnecessary damage. Well, that's Jurassic Park on Game Boy. You could do a lot better or a lot worse for the Game Boy, but it's interesting to see what they came up with given the limitations of the system.
It could have been worse, John. A lot worse.
I'd be curious to know what your favorite Jurassic Park game was of all time, past or present. Thank you for watching, and see you next time on Friday Night Arcade.